Hey kids, which would you rather be, a king or a servant? I heard most of you say king. That's because kings are rich, powerful, and can boss people around, right? Not many of us would say, when I grow up, I want to be a servant. But when I tell you what Jesus said about servants, you might change your mind. That's our topic today on Bible Mom. I have to admit, it would be pretty cool to have a servant. If you had a servant, what would you get him to do? Maybe do your chores, make you waffles every day, go to the store if you felt like eating a bag of Cheetos. Servants were made to do what they're told, which is why most of us don't want to be a servant. We want to be the one giving the orders. We want to be the greatest, not the least. We want to be number one in everybody's eyes, right? I'm going to give you a little test and you tell me which of these is the greatest. Take a look at these pictures. They all look pretty great to me. That's because our world tends to define the greatest as the person with the best basketball record, the biggest bank account, the most talent, the greatest power. But that's not the way that God's kingdom works. He pretty much turns that upside down. Jesus' disciples knew that one day he was going to be king. And once, two of them pulled him aside and said, "Jesus, when you get to be in power, can we share your throne with you?" Well, when the other disciples heard about this, they were pretty annoyed. They probably thought, "Who do you think you are? Why do you get to ask Jesus for that?" You see, all of them were pretty competitive about who was going to be greatest in his kingdom. And Jesus had to set them straight. Here's what he said. He said, "Whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be your slave. For even the Son of Man," that is Jesus, "did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a payment for many." In other words, Jesus, who should have been greatest of all, came down to earth to be a servant to all. He set an example for us to follow. And he's saying, in his kingdom, if you really want to be great, you're going to serve other people. Let's take a look at a few images from Jesus' life, and you tell me, does he look more like a king or a servant here? I see him healing a leper, feeding 5,000, and washing his disciples' feet. He looks more like a servant here. Well, Jesus wants us to serve others, but how do we do that exactly? I know that servants are supposed to do what they're told, but I think there's also an attitude here too. The attitude of a good servant is to say, "Yes, sir," not "You do it yourself," right? So we need to be obedient in a humble way, don't we? Who is the most important person that we should obey? Right, God. And if we're listening to God, if we're reading his Bible, we're going to find out ways that we can serve others. But I think God is also pleased when we look around and see other people that we can serve and help. For example, today you could look for a way to serve your parents, or a teacher, or a friend. Keep your eyes open because I bet you will see a way that you can help or serve another person. Well, Jesus, the one who was really entitled to wear this badge, gave it up, came down to earth, and became a servant to all. And he's looking for other people to follow his example. Could that be you? Remember this, that if you only achieve greatness in this world, all of that fame and glory and riches will fade away when you die. But if you achieve greatness in God's kingdom, in Jesus' kingdom, you will get to enjoy those privileges for eternity. So which are you going to shoot for? Greatness in this life or greatness in God's kingdom? You only have one life to live, so choose wisely.